Thanks for joining me for another ball review. At long last, we have the Storm Sonic. I use my usual test layout, 65 by 5 1/4 by 40. This was originally scheduled for a December 15th release. This ball was pushed back a couple months due to the popularity of the current releases, as well as to accommodate the release of Rotogrip's Hypercell Fused and Hustle HYB. This is perhaps the most anticipated release in company history due to the huge success the IQ lines had, and while it does indeed remind me of an IQ, there's a huge wrinkle in this case. The Sonic features R2S Pearl. R2S has been a staple of Storm releases for over a decade now, and while the core is based on the Centripetal C3 core that's been in all the IQ Tour releases, the new Centripetal HD core is a whole new animal. It's the most dense core Storm's ever produced, pushing the RG all the way down to 2.47, and the differential at 0.47 is nearly 20 points higher than the differential of the C3 core in the Tours at 0.029. For the Sonic, this creates a super heavy rolling ball that needs that extra flair the higher differential creates to help it shape up like it does on the back end. The key characteristics of the IQ Tour series have been control and consistency, and while the Sonic builds on this, it is a ball in its own league. It's completely cliche to say it's something different from anything that we've ever seen before. It definitely feels like R2S, but this is the heaviest rolling ball either Storm or Roto is producing right now, even more so than any of the asymmetric balls, in my opinion, if not quite as quick on the back end. As soon as this ball hits the lane, it's revving and rolling and chugging, and in the history of this cover, I don't think I remember anything else hooking more. I have it even a couple boards stronger than the Code Black, just not quite as quick on the back end. And as such, it's quite a bit stronger than any of the IQ Tours. It's not quite a full arrow, but very close. It's definitely in the needs oil category. On paper, it looks similar to the Marvel Pearl, but bowling isn't done on paper, so on the lane they're quite different reactions. The Marvel Pearl is butter all the way down the lane. It's very easy through the heads, it's smooth, it arcs nicely through the pins at the break point. The Sonic, in contrast, is a very aggressive roll and motion all the way down the lane and is slightly more angular at the break point. I have it a full arrow stronger. The Marvel Pearl, I feel like I can really catch at the bottom without it moving early, but I have to make sure to give the Sonic plenty of room. It definitely doesn't need any extra help from me in the revving department. For higher rev rates, it's going to offer some insane hit, but you're going to have a lot of head oil. There's just no way around it with as strong as this ball is. Specifically, the Sonic feels like an IQ that's built for a lower rev or higher speed game, and speaking of a lower rev game, this is the perfect ball to introduce you to my wife with, so this is Angel. I've heard for quite a long time that everyone would like to see a different look because not everyone has my rev rate, not everybody plays as deep as I do, so if you're a straighter player, it can be hard to get a good read on what a ball is going to do for you when you're watching somebody on a video hooking the whole lane, not to mention there are virtually zero women on ball videos. As you can see, the Sonic even hooks quite a bit for her too, despite the lower rev rate, but one of the big issues for a lot of straighter players is that quite often they can't get a ball into enough of a roll, so it either won't hook enough or it will finish too late and won't hit well. If anything, the Sonic can sometimes roll a little too strong, but if you're either rev light or speed heavy, it'll definitely give you some much needed strength in the mid lane to help you improve your shape on the back end and into the pocket. Angel also has a Marvel Pearl, and she sees a similar difference between the two, though the hook potentials for her are quite a bit closer than they are for me. Now, she has some notes of her own about the Sonic, so here she is to share her thoughts. Now, I know that you said you were pretty excited in the first place when you saw the picture and heard that there was a new IQ coming out.
Yes. Well, I love my Nano, and it's my Christmas ball, and love the smell, love the colors, and IQ for me is just love it. So yeah, it was kind of one of those that if the Sonic, the colors are cool. I like the blue, like the gold. It just kind of, it's awesome. I don't know what it smells like. I still don't know what it smells like.
Yeah. I just happen to have the Sonic right here. So gingerbread s'mores.
It does smell like s'mores.
Yeah.
Now we can have s'mores.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those that I think, for me, I don't ever throw it extremely hooking. I can't stand clear on the left side of the lane and throw it clear on the right, and it's going to come back. And this is one of those that I actually can. And I can go out and I watch you and Anthony bowl periodically and see all these other people out there. And that's not something I could ever do, but you pick up this ball and I can do it. And while some of it, with your help over the time, I've been able to move more left at times, but it's not something I can do consistently. And this was just fun. To get up and, I'd already bowled league. And so the lanes were kind of broken down a little bit. But I could get up and I can actually stand on the left side of the lane and throw it clear out, and it's going to come back.
Yeah, and in league, even starting out on the fresh shot, you were still hooking the lane quite a bit more. You've been using your Marble Pearl a lot recently, and you were even starting. You don't have quite as big a difference between your Sonic and your Marble Pearl as I have between mine, but you were still standing quite a bit further left than you normally do with your Marble Pearl.
Yeah. When you brought it, you drilled it and you brought it down to me, and I said, well, what do I need to do with it? And you're just like, well, you're going to need to move left. And okay, how many do you think I had to start with? And you're about 5. And so I get up there and I move 5, and I kind of turn back around and look at you, and you kind of nodded, and I was like, I think I need a couple more. Like, I moved left.
Yeah, there's a couple shots here that we've had that were kind of flat. This ball does roll really heavy, and so I think that's the challenge sometimes, is that when you get inside and you don't have a super high rev rate, sometimes it's kind of hard to get the ball to corner, and especially with how heavy this ball rolls, sometimes there's a little transition period there when you're trying to play with the shapes and get it all lined back up again.
There were some things that reminded me of the special agent that you handed down to me. I've been throwing the 14 pound forever, and I thought, well, I really want to try and go up to a 15, and that's when you had fixed it and drilled it for me. And it kind of had that, I could get it to kind of go out, and then all of a sudden it just snapped back, and I loved that. I thought it was just the coolest thing ever because I hadn't had one like that. This reminds me of that, and I love it just for that reason alone. Mm-hmm. So the Sonic releases on February 9th along with the Drive.
#Stormation.